Pushing P but not peeking. Pushing P but not peeking. Pushing P but not peeking. That's what I gotta do sometimes as a host here to make sure the sounds, the levels are correct. And more essentially, we're pushing P, as the kids are saying nowadays, but we're not peeking. P-E-E-K-I-N-G and or P-E-A-K-I-N-G. Because if you do the P-E-E, which means you're trying to catch a glimpse of my pee-pee, you know, you're a creep, you're a bozo, you got no fucking life, and you're really pathetic with low-ass standards. Because, listen, I got one just like all other males got one, just like all other that have transitioned into a male have one, just like those that have not yet accomplished the age of being an adult male and or underage got one too. So shout outs to everybody included in the checkbox that is male, identify, born as, transitioned into, after the fact, whatever, whatnot. Shout outs to you. Those that have it in mind too as well, shout outs to you. But I'm just saying, peaking is what I've been doing as far as my genius is concerned. The brain here, you know, confined within this baldish. I never, that's also a thing too I got to reach out to people about. Like, more essentially, the bald community. We're underrepresented. We're unheralded as the heroes that we are. Shout outs to everybody out there that's bald. Male and female, by the way. It's applicable to females as well. It's very rare to see the bald or buzz cut, almost near bald female, but they're out there. And a lot of them actually ain't bad looking. So shout outs to everybody. But there's some of us that, you know, may have a misshapen head, or maybe not the head made to not have hair. But then what are you going to do otherwise when you lose your hair? Or like me, 36 now, 37 later this year, 2022. Shout outs to that. I got no hair. But oddly enough, as I've made clear before, you know, you can take my word for it. I'm not going to fucking start taking shit off and showing you otherwise, literally. But when I start growing hair now, of all ages, at this age, on my body, like lower back, like right above, the most ironic part is the very top of my ass crack, the very, like, where the tip of the crack starts, that's been getting so hairy now, where even I'm baffled, where God can have this sick of a sense of humor where he finds this to be something of his delight. My lower back too, it's like forming it's like a Christmas tree shape almost, like very thin up top and then just widens towards the bottom, and then it gets thin like a stem, like the bottom of the Christmas tree, and then whoop, right again, right above the tip of my ass crack, it's all hair again. My ass cheeks, pale, ghostly, like I co-starred in like a Hotel Transylvania or something like that too, but then all hair. So I'm like vampire and werewolf, like left cheek vampire, right cheek werewolf. You know, we're both looking off into the moon. We look like we belong in cages, my ass cheeks at least. So I'm sorry about that. Shout out to all those with hairy, pale, you know, gothic looking ass cheeks. Just take a look at me. I'm lacking melanin. I'm lacking color. The sun has not hit me with its D, vitamin D, that is, as essential as it is to all of us to live. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. It's wintertime here, so the sun likes to peace out very early in the day. So that kind of sucks, honestly, because I like the sun. I appreciate the sun. You know, shout outs to the sun. But I'm all about pushing that P nowadays, as the kids say. But in the sense of now pushing that G, as in pushing that genius, is this. We got something big coming up as far as, what is it, March, I believe, like end of March almost. DC, the DC universe, you know, I forget when exactly in March, but we got yet another retelling of the story of the Batman. I think it's the Batman this time around, right? This time starring Robert Pattison, the dude, the boy, the guy from fucking Twilight. That's what you know him mostly as or from. No denying that, and I don't blame you for that because I haven't seen anything else he's done either, or maybe I have, I just don't remember. But I do remember him being okay in Twilight. I indulged in one. I forget which one, to be honest. I just remember at some point I zoned out, I fell asleep, I wake up, and there's vampires, you know, teleporting across different bases on a baseball field out in a cornfield somewhere. So I don't know what went on. I remember, and I still do, find what's her name, the girl from Twilight. I know I love her face. I think she's adorable. I think she's fucking so pretty. I can't remember her name right now, but you know who I'm talking about. The girl from fucking Twilight. The one that was going to give birth to like the wolf vampire hybrid or something like that. I don't remember. I just saw one and I pulled out right away. I never pulled out with her, but what's her name? Fuck. I don't remember, but still. He was decent in that shit. I'm not saying that was Oscar worthy. I'm not saying that was like the upper tier, higher echelon of acting. That's an easy fucking gig. Let's be honest. Even he'll say that himself. But as far as his acting career is concerned, he's been elevated to the point now where he's evolved into like Batman worthy status, apparently. Now, I understand from the little bit of research I did, I'll be honest, I didn't do too much, is that he's apparently not the biggest guy, and he's a very slender Batman, or the Batman in this case, as he'll embody, literally, with the fucking costume and all that shit too. But I think all that aside, the real worry about people is that, and it seems like false fake worry, like we did with Ben Affleck when he was announced as the next Batman. He turned out to be fucking great. In my opinion, personally, again, my favorite version of Batman. The Batflick, 4L, if anything, too. So shout out to Ben Affleck always, and getting back with Jennifer on top of that too, 50 plus whatever, but that ass is still fucking bouncing quarters, $50 coins off that ass and ricocheting right back at you in your face. So hopefully you got a mask on like Batman and you can just like deflect the shit, flying projectiles off of that monumental ass, historical ass. But we got the Batman coming up. Robert Pattison's the star. Okay, great too. You got, Colin Farrell as the Penguin, I believe. There's I'll be honest, I forget who the fuck's playing the Riddler, like the really sick, demented, sadistic Riddler version this time around, not the fucking Jim Carrey from the old ones we had. Shouts to Jim Carrey, he's a fucking hero, and he pulled it off well, but, we're not getting that version of Riddler. We're getting the fucking, like, really masochistic, fucking almost like Silence of the Lamb-esque vibes Riddler this time around. And I forget who else was noticeable that's in the movie too. But besides that, obviously, there is the very fine. There is the very cute looking. Very pretty. And not to objectify her or subjectify her to just being a pretty face and a piece of ass. Otherwise, there is, what's her name? Zoe Kravitz, of course. The child of Lenny Kravitz and Lisa Bonet, I think her name is. Yeah, I always forget her name, to be honest. Fucking the pretty-ass one from The Cosby Show, which, has been canceled since. You can't find it anywhere, apparently. So, you know who I'm talking about, hopefully. Just Google The Cosby Show, cute girl. You'll see she's the first one that comes up. But shout-outs to her. I want to make this clear from that. Yes, again, chef's kiss mwah, mwah, to her, Zoe Kravitz, pretty girl. No denying that, no taking away from that. And from the bits and pieces I've seen of her acting so far, what she's done till now, she seems pretty good. I'll give her credit. She seems like she's only going to develop into something more, even more than what she is now. She's good right now. I think she's going to eventually be great. Still great to look at. Still got a long time to still fucking look fantastic. That'll only help with her being more convincing as far as what she does acting-wise. But, what I'm begging, what I'm asking for is some sort of fucking job, title, position, standing, where I can help these companies, in this case specifically, the DC movie universe. They fucking dropped the ball. I'm telling you right now. And it hurts me to say, because the movie's practically on its way to theaters within a month's time, close enough to whatever. There's no turning around now. It's too late to apologize or too late to fucking trivialize what you got coming in theaters soon enough, DC. But you fucked up. You know why you fucked up? Okay, Robert Pattison, we have yet to see what happens. Okay, we have yet to see what they've done to Colin Farrell and turn him into a penguin. But hopefully at least we get one scene of him eating some fish. Let it be fucking imitation crab meat. At least have him waddling down or slicking his hair back while in the middle of a fucking outdoors like seafood market, something like that. Something fish prop heavy is what we need with Colin Farrell. And there's more stuff too, but more importantly, you dropped the ball. You know fucking where you dropped the ball, DC? By not making Catwoman, Zoe Kravitz is fine, not taking away from her, but by not making Catwoman, genius idea coming here. Oh shit, how'd you miss this, DC? By not making Catwoman Doja Cat Woman. Let me break this fucking button right here. There's applause right here. Look, too fucking genius, too fucking smart. Listen, pushing P, push that P all you want. I'm pushing G over here. G as in game, G as in genius. Look at this fucking thing. It's working overtime. It's working so overtime. No reason to push the hair follicles out of my head that remained, and I'm fucking resorting to this shit right here. Look at me. Doja Cat Woman is what they could have gone with, what they could have done. Easy fucking promo, easy fucking marketing. She's practically on top of the music world right now. And on top of that, she's fine as fuck. Cute girl. Fucking talented as shit. Genuinely quirky, funny personality. Oh. And the ribbon up top of this already beautifully fucking packaged, wrapped gift that the world's given to us, or that the universe gave to us, the world, as in Doja Cat in the physical form. Oh, let's not digress. There's that big, juicy fucking ass on this girl, even though she's slimmed down as of late recently. I guess, I don't know, maybe to appeal to the rest of the universe or the world or whatever too, and be like, you know what? The ass is fantastic. There's no denying that. You know, it's got its own gravitational pull and such. It's like a tractor being sucking you in. But maybe we need to lose a little bit of ass, just because middle America might not be ready to so much embrace it, even though they're the bread basket. Shout out to the bread basket of America. Might be too much for them to handle visually. It's like an onslaught of sorts. And then, you know, maybe the Japanese already, you know, terrified of the idea of Godzilla being real one day, God forbid. So then that big old thing swinging left to right, cheek to cheek, slapping on the stage in Japan might cause a little bit of panic. It's not an ugly ass. You're a young girl. That ass still has plenty of time to fucking be put on display, pranced around, thong, G-string, tight-ass pants, no pants, whatever she chooses to do. She's got the freedom to do that as a woman that owns a fucking body and an image and a sexuality too as well. But still, maybe we need to tone the ass down a little bit, just because a lot of people might have a problem with it. It might be just too hands-on per se. But nothing wrong with that. She did slim down, it's noticeable, and she's very sleek and slender per se nowadays. But the ass, thank God, is still there for us to fully appreciate, thank the Lord, and know that he's got some good taste. He, she, it has some good taste as far as ass. And so, you know what? Stop right there when it came time, genetically speaking, assembly line-wise. You know what? Her, all right, she's great enough already, but you know what? Let's really make the world appreciate and acknowledge me as the superior being. You know, slap a little extra layer genetically on that ass. So when the time comes and, you know, it's on full display and she's an adult, of course, first and foremost, that ass is right there. Pow! In your fucking face. Can't help it. I'm God. I don't need to sign off on nothing, you know, just make it happen. Extra putty, whatever you got to do on that clay model right there. And then you got Doja Cat's ass. Doja Cat's marvelous ass. Excuse me. So yeah, I think, I know, I truly believe, from what we got so far from the trailer, what was it, 2-3 trailers now we got for the Batman, like 2 minutes each. All right, and you know, copy and paste some scenes from like the first trailer into this one, whatever. Okay, roughly we got about like 5 minutes worth of the movie, right? So far that we've seen, that we know of, that we're gonna be familiar with once we're in the theaters, sitting down, enjoying it. And or I think streaming, they pushed it back to like a month after the release. So you're going to have to only be in the theater to see it when it's like out, first run, whatever. I think that we have a lot to look forward to because we literally have a lot to look forward to with the movie, because I read now they've confirmed that the movie's going to be 2 hours and 55 minutes long. And that's without the credits. So they still do the credits thing. I've been in the theaters recently. Shout out to the movie theaters. And I love theater popcorn, so I'm always dipping and dabbing in the popcorn. I get the extra fucking butter. I go to one specifically near me that has its own butter machine, so you can, like, free country still, whatever. You can still choose to drown in butter if you choose. I choose to fucking do so. I don't want to fucking vote. I don't vote. But guess what? I'm going to the fucking butter machine and I'm overloading on the butter. I can afford the cholesterol. I'm still fairly young. I'm not 40 yet, so I can still kind of indulge. Let me fucking live. Salt and pepper, do that shit too. I put pepper in my popcorn. I don't know if that's fucking wrong or not, but whatever. I digress. I do that. I enjoy myself in the theaters. You can still do that. The theaters are still doing the 20 minutes, no less than, previews, advanced screenings, advanced previews of fucking trailers or whatever's coming out after the movie, the featured selection you're going for in the first place, right? So that's still there. You add on 20 minutes, that's at least, 3 hours, let's just say 30, that you're there in the theater for when the Batman's in theaters, which ain't bad. But I wish instead of fucking being pussies and doing this, 2 hours and 55 minutes, it's just like the $19.99 instead of fucking $20, boom, that's it, what it costs. Stupidity of it all. I get it, it's marketing psychology, whatever, too. Some people fall victim to it and believe it. But when you look back at it, I had to fucking double check to be sure. Avengers Endgame was 3 hours and 2 minutes. So it toppled over into the 3 hour range, which is, I think up until that time was still rare because, The Godfather 1 and 2 were like 2 hours and 30 each. Godfather 2 was like, I think, slightly longer than Godfather 1. And then Godfather 3, thank God, the trashiest one of them all, was the shortest of the three. Thank God. But Avengers started that whole thing of 3 hours, but then a year later, the whole pandemic hits, so then we're out of theaters. I would think the next thing movies would have done probably would have been to jump on that fad of, you know what, let's make 3.5 hour, 4 hour fucking movies and shit. Where are these people going anyways? Oh yeah, and then there was a fucking Irishman. I think the Irishman was like 3-something hours. Because I remember the biggest complaint on fucking Twitter was like, I have to break the Irishman into like 5 separate movie nights because it's too long. I can't commit to that whole fucking time. I think it was like, I want to say, hopefully I'm correct in remembering that the Irishman, pretty good. But it was like, I know it was like at least 3-something hours. And that was in the theater where I went to go see it. I think it was in theaters for 1 week. And I sat there to 3-something hours to watch it and enjoyed myself too. I didn't enjoy the de-aging that was poorly done because especially the faces were obvious, of course. We knew that going in that, Pacino doesn't look like he looked in a fat suit playing Jimmy Hoffa or whatever too. But they forgot all of these guys' liver spots on their fucking hand, but they were so worried about the face only. And every single part they went. But whatever, that's Irishman talk. We can always do that in a future episode. But I wish they would just not be pussy about it and say 2 hours 55. So that means they had to trim some fat somewhere to bring it down to 2 hours 55. Or they reshot shit, they added in things. I really don't want a fucking retelling of Batman's origins again. I really don't fucking need that. Because we kind of got what I did want. Very early Batman in Batman Begins. Like, traveled the world, came back, presumably beat Ra's al Ghul, trained with the League of Shadows, comes back to Gotham. He's a young Batman. I believe we're getting that with the Batman here with Robert Pattison, so that's cool. A very young, more maybe brutal, hopefully more like not so familiar with like right and wrong, the difference of Batman for Gotham, so he kind of like plays by his own rules kind of thing. I hope this is what we're getting. because we do need more of that. Not to fucking have to see Martha and God, what's his dad's name? Fuck. Let's just say Patrick Wayne. I forget his dad's name right now. Thomas and fucking Martha getting shot up in the alley again. Whether it was the Joker or not, or someone who believed in the Joker, or someone who could have been Joker-esque but wasn't a Joker, because then again, there was that thing with the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, you know, Hot True Phoenix, I was going to say. But there was that whole thing with him. He couldn't have been the Joker because he was so much fucking older than Bruce was when we saw Bruce in that movie, because he was like a teenager practically, almost. He wasn't even anywhere near the age of leaving to go travel for the League of Shadows and all that shit too. I don't know. That whole Joker thing confused me, like I'm sure it confused a lot of people. But then the allure of Joker is that, like, he has no real true to the earth, faithful origin tale. Like, it could be as any ways as he remembers it, or he chooses to tell us. But I just wish they would be honest and upfront saying, we're going to do 3 hours or 3 hours plus. So, you know, make sure you walk the dog, you get a babysitter, you get a dog sitter, you empty your bladder before you commit to the movie, and also shut the fuck up for like 3-something hours with the Batman and enjoy. Okay. Now that we got that out the way, listen. Again, the whole point right now is they fucked up by not making it Doja Cat Woman. Simply put, listen. Is she not practically on top of the music charts right now? With that last album that came out, what is it, Planet Her or something like that? Ever since she dropped fucking Moo, I've been a fan of hers before the Moo shit came into play and took over the world practically.
Oh, isn't that the girl that does the Moo song?
Yes, but she had so much more even leading up to Moo. Moo was a fucking silly spur of the moment shit that just fucking hit like that. It went viral. It pushed the P, as in Doja, well, that's pushing D. Well, pushing her P to the forefront where you couldn't escape the song. I still listen to it and I still like it. But I was a fan of hers, I want to say maybe some years before, like, the Moo song hit. Like, I remember one of my favorite things about her was her SoundCloud releases, which are, like, I think only on SoundCloud because they sampled a lot. The one thing she did with, like, the Nintendo GameCube Power On music. She did some shit with that. It was fucking great. And she's always been proven as a great rapper. Best ever? No, I'm not saying that. But talented. She could hold her own as an MC, I'd say. Absolutely, why not? And I've been a stan ever since. And then I got a glimpse of her, before Moo. I was already like, whoa. I was already committed. You know, whatever. I was already convinced of fucking buying into that package entirely. Doja Cat, piece of ass, pretty girl, super talented, top of the music world. Is she gonna grow bigger than what she is right now? I think so. Why not? She's so young still and has a whole promising career ahead of her and behind her, literally with all that ass. Why the fuck not? So I'm just saying, DC, you could have fucking made it so easy. You like repackaging, just like Marvel does. Repackaging, re-fucking delivering, retelling the tales of all these superheroes, mutants, etc., compared to their comic book origins. Why the fuck not do that in this case too? Catwoman? Who's that? We've had the terrible solo Catwoman movie with Halle Berry while she was still a fucking piece of ass in her prime, and is still now absolutely a gorgeous woman and a talented actress too, but there's still that big blemish on her fucking track record with that solo Catwoman movie. They were brave enough to do it, but they were stupid, whoever they got to fucking write it, put it together, and let alone let that poor woman suffer in that solo excursion as Catwoman. That is a bad fucking movie. There's no fucking telling me otherwise. Even the fucking special effects, graphics, whatever you want to call it, terrible, trash, and very undeserving to who Halle Berry's been for the longest time. It's another fine-looking woman aside. Getting back to this one right here. Doja Cat, or who should have been Doja Cat Woman. Better yet said. Listen, simple enough. You get Doja Cat, it's Catwoman. Cat's already in the fucking name. You just slap the Doja in front, why the fuck not? Or if you want to say faithful to the fucking character because it's Catwoman, okay, I get it. But at least have Doja Cat as Catwoman. It fucking rolls off the tongue easily. It makes sense. It's funny. It's highly coincidental. It's genius level fucking marketing because she's got a fucking album that just came out. She could do like what Prince did. Shout out to Prince and rest in peace to Prince. What he did with that first Batman movie. Was it the first one? Yeah, the first one. He did the whole soundtrack for that first Batman movie. Excellent fucking shit. Especially if you're a Prince fan, you're gonna love that album. That whole soundtrack for the Batman movie. The very first one with I believe Michael Keaton. Excellent with the Bat Dance, all this other shit. And then I think he did a remix, like singles EP version of that soundtrack too. So it was excellent. Boom, right there. Not only do you have her fine ass on the screen the whole time as Catwoman, her in a tight latex, leather, suede, whatever a Catwoman would prefer to have, hugging her body as tight as possible while still granting her flexibility to be a Catwoman, as she would be, and she's a Doja Cat, so why not? Put it on her. Okay, you have Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. Not bad at all, but Michelle Pfeiffer to me has always been more someone you appreciate face-wise than so much body-wise. Slim, slender, very nice looking and appealing to whoever, depending on who you ask. Everybody's got their choice of preference of woman, but woman. But then you had Halle Berry with the terrible fucking Catwoman movie. Then you had, of course, I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting somebody else too. But you also had fucking, what's her name? Anne Hathaway in that third Dark Knight movie, Dark Knight Rises. Anne Hathaway always been a little cutie, little baddie, and chef's kiss to her too. And oh yeah, sorry. Chef's kiss to fucking Halle Berry and chef's kiss to Michelle Pfeiffer. But each one for each ass cheek, chef's kiss, again, double stack that shit to Doja Cat, who could have been Doja Cat Woman, because listen, you fucking put whatever outfit on her, that thing's fucking poking out, that thing's fucking juicy, that thing's sitting perfect, that thing's riding dirty, that thing's fucking amazing, immaculate, perfect, marketing right there. And like I said just now, you could have had Doja Cat do the whole fucking movie soundtrack, because remember, soundtracks used to be fucking pretty awesome or epic for movies when those came out. I remember those days. I remember those times. You could have had her at least do the lead single off the Batman movie soundtrack, or original music from the soundtrack from the fucking film The Batman and shit. Something like that. She could have did a whole new song, a whole new catchy song. She already alluded to fucking Batman and the Joker in fucking Get Into It. Yeah. I think her best fucking song so far. I love that song the most off that whole album, Planet Her, by the way. Love that album as a whole, but that fucking song right there is so goddamn catchy. I knew that'd be a hit as soon as I heard it. I was surprised that it took as long as it did to be promoted and or pushed, or pushing the P, and or where's the video for it? If there isn't one right now, I gotta look for it too, but still. Get Into It, yeah. Like, it's like within the first 4 bars, you just want to pop up on these jokers like the Batman. Or does she say clowns? One of those. You just want to pop up on these clowns like the Batman or something like that. She does it much better. Of course, that's her song. Shout out to Doja Cat. Not a fucking excellent album of hers. But she could have done the lead fucking single off the soundtrack, off the fucking album accompanying the movie as well, too. Spotify, top of the charts, all this, all that, whatever, too. She could have been promoting that easily. All that fucking ass. She's slender. She's slimmed down. It could have been coincidentally, maybe they were actually proposing that to her, and she said, you know what? I'm going to slim down a little bit so I can fit and really make these curves hit and all this ass stack in that fucking suit so I can be splitting and throwing my legs over my head and just judo chopping assholes wherever I fucking look, because I'm the Catwoman. Oh yeah, I'm Doja Cat Woman, but that's the joke on set. Ha ha ha. I'm Catwoman otherwise. And in real life, it's not like anyone's going to forget my name when they introduce me on the red carpet, at the Oscars, whatever too, because it's Doja Cat as Catwoman. There's no fucking guessing games. There's no like, oh yeah, that's a new Catwoman. I can't remember her name in real life too, but that's Catwoman, right? Because I remember that ass on the fucking screen. And I went to go see it on the fucking A24, whatever widescreen ratio aspect screen. And that thing was gigantic. It was like the Grand Canyon of asses that I was fucking looking at and wishing it would just sit on my fucking face. But then you got that shit. You really fucked up, DC. You could have absolutely done it because the counterpart, the perfect counterpart to this very also slim, slender, CrossFit kind of built Batman we're getting with Robert Pattison, the yin to the yang would have been Doja Cat. Someone built fucking beautifully like her. A cute fucking face. A nice set of fucking tits too. There's no denying that. And I'm not trying to objectify or subjectify her either. I'm just saying it just so happens she has great tits. But then the fucking selling factor, the real fucking hole puncher, the fucking thing that's got people lining up first day of, first showing of for the fucking release of the thing. That ass on this girl. If she was Doja Cat Woman, of course, but you fucked up, DC. You could have fucking had that happen. It could have been wonderful, glorious, but no, you decided to not fucking listen to people or not think with your fucking head or not think with that head down there, which really would have fucking sold and propelled this shit to who the fuck knows where. Because I'm sure there's going to be no lack of the younger audience that's going to check out the Batman because maybe they grew up somewhat with Robert Pattison. They think he's cute or whatever. Or they know of Zoe Kravitz as well too, or whatever might be appealing. It's just like for the sake of fucking posting on Instagram, hey, first showing, first day of the Batman lit, whatever too. There was gonna be no shortage of that, but then you really could have fucking hooked, line synced them in, reeled them on fucking home. The money that is, because that's all you care about. The bags, the racks, the what do you call it? The bands and shit too. Push that P onto the youth with the fact that Doja Cat's Catwoman. Oh shit, that joint's gonna be litty to titty. Let me check that out right fucking now. Oh, it's not out yet? Okay, as soon as it is, I got a reminder on my phone. I program my whole life around this fucking phone. I'll know when that shit drops so I can be first in line. Lit, whatever. Could have done that. That ass is the counterbalance. Legally, it's like the fucking legal scales or like the Libra astrological sign. Is the perfect balance to play off a fucking CrossFit Batman, a.k.a. Robert Pattison, or a.k.a. as I like to dub him now, Batmanson, because remember there was Ben Affleck, they were calling him Batflick. So why not do the same thing with Robert Pattison to make it easier to remember? So Batmanson, or Robert Pattison's Batman, because he's so fucking skinny. He's so slim, but he's got the fucking suit, he's got the tech, he's got the fucking fighting techniques and skills too, to, eat bullets, fuck up the bad guys, break arms. He's like a slim, slender, 40-year younger version of Steven Seagal in a fucking Batman suit. Hey, I don't have the acting skills probably to play Batman, but I would have kicked his ass. I did kick Batman's ass one day. He just never saw it. He never heard of it. See, because I have a honor and respect code. I should have been Batman. By default, I should have been Batman. Here's my mask. I'm Batman now. 60, 70-year-old Steven Seagal wanted to be Batman. Would be crazy. But then again, Nicolas Cage wanted to be Superman, so who's really crazy now? But I digress. So back to the point, right? Robert Pattison, I think he's built a little too slim. Maybe he put on some muscle. Hopefully he did to kind of carry the image of Batman properly. But imagine, then again, we do have to think about it and be fair to Robert Pattison. Because if he's already, by default, carrying a target on his back as far as Batman in the movie, all these goons and all these fucking thugs after his ass. And probably a lot of them are like outsizing him too on top of that. Of course, he's got to be fucking so savvy with the martial arts, with the self-defense mechanisms, the armor and all this shit too. Imagine on top of all that, you add insult to injury and you get Doja Cat, who's probably not that tall, I think. Doesn't matter. Short girls rule the world anyway. But she's got that ass, which is like a counterbalance to whatever fucking moves or whatever you can throw at her to try to detain her, of course, and or pin her down, better yet said, because she gets out of hand, that Catwoman lady, robbing and stealing and, I don't know, whatever else she does too. She could pin him down easily, sit on his face. Obviously, this is a PG-13 movie. She's not going to legit sit on his face, like maybe sit on his chest. That thing is so heavy and dense and beautifully put together. He's not going anywhere. And on top of that, he's got his armor pinning him down. That shit ain't light. So you got the armor, her ass, and her savvy, because she's also a trained, very savvy fighter in her own sense and rights. She's going to know what to do with him. She's gonna probably, like, I don't know, pretend that the pussy's right there. Talk to it right now, Batman. Confess to me, or I'm gonna rub your face in my fucking pussy lips and talk about cat all day and all night, huh? You motherfucker. Well, she can't say all that, but you know what I mean. It would be unfair. Because then again, too, if Robert Pattison's a red-blooded male, I think he's British, right? So I can't say all-American red-blooded male, but shout outs to Britain, shout outs to England, shout outs to London. If he's a man, and he values the sake that he's a man, and he's letting her be a woman, of course he's got fucking a baby arm built up in his fucking batsuit armor. Of course he's getting hard and stiff. All the blood's rushing from his head. He can't really think properly. Bruce Wayne's being fucking slowly but surely defeated because his lack of blood flowing through his brain and rushing all to his dick has sealed the deal as far as Catwoman securing the quick victory. The big dub. W for her. So why not? Then she just fucking prances off or like cartwheels off somewhere off the side of the building, runs away with the jewels and shit, and then Batman's just laying there with a heart on, a full erection and shit. Like, I be defeated. I let justice take over me. God damn this dick. Or some shit like that. Also, what could have been funny, but then again, also, yeah, so that could have probably been unfair to Robert Pattison or, CrossFit Batman that we're getting with him. Too much ass for him to handle on his own. There's no Robin, presumably, so then it's really just a one-on-one, but really what all that ass she's got on her, it's more like a two-on-one versus Batman, and he's only a man. Just like she's only a woman, he's only a man, he can only do so much, he's got no superpowers, he's got all this advanced tech, but I bet you in that whole time developing tech and plotting techniques how to take down Penguin, Riddler, whoever else shows up too, etc., he didn't develop a technique as far as, how do I handle this peach that all of a sudden Catwoman's developed on her physical frame? I could eat that pussy like I alluded to in the past episode. I might be able to eat that pussy for about 5 minutes straight. Subdue her enough where her legs are trembling and she's numb from the waist down for about 10 minutes. Buys me a big enough window of time to clear the streets of Gotham if I need to, but that I didn't count on that ass. That ass is just too much for me to handle, and now it's sitting on my face, and I'm enjoying the ultimate, highest level amount of pleasure I've ever experienced in my life. Wait a minute, I can't even think straight. I'm talking out loud as I say this, all the blood's rushed to my dick. No, Alfred! Or something like that, it's... Okay, so I guess Doja Cat Woman's out of the fucking running because of that shit. It'd be too much for fucking anyone to handle. Okay, I get it now. All right. Okay, DC. I'll let you have that one, but I'm still saying Doja Cat Woman would have sold itself so fucking much and so easily. And then, too, maybe we would have gotten too many puns. Because Doja Cat is funny. If you follow her Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, I think she's on. No. I know I definitely follow her IG, obviously. Come on. I'm a man, I have eyes, and I appreciate the physical form of a woman. Woman. I follow her TikTok as well. She's actually hilarious. She's actually very funny. And not shy of being quirky as silly as she is. So then I think maybe if Doja Cat would have been Doja Cat Woman, we probably would have also gotten a lot of puns alluding to Doja Cat. Oh yeah, I just happen to be Catwoman, but I'm also a big Doja Cat fan and shit. It's like imagine Batman and Catwoman, Doja Cat is Catwoman, like standing on a rooftop together. Or imagine they make Robert Pattison the one. They assign him the task of making all the fucking puns as far as Doja Cat meets Catwoman. And they all go over her head. She's like oblivious to it too because she's like, I'm just Catwoman. What's this Doja Cat you talk about? Like Batman could be all like, or Robert Pattison, Batmanson could be like, oh, if you want it, just say so. To clean up the streets and rid Gotham of all its crime and shit too. Well, why don't you just kiss me more while we wait for the streets of Gotham to get a little cleaner? Or even worse, something like, let me be a Batman, I'll let you be a woman. Catwoman. Or just some cringe pun shit like that. Maybe that could have worked its way into the movie. It's just funny the first time, maybe, if they didn't already release in the trailer, because they tend to do that, like the best jokes and scenes nowadays are in the trailer. When you see the movie, you've heard it already, it doesn't hit the same too. It could have really been pun heavy like that too. I think, perhaps, who knows. But yeah, I'm just really fucking like, damn. In my mind, I'm thinking out loud. I like to imagine my free time too. Besides, pick my nose and scratch my ass. I like to imagine these things. What could have been? Like my own version, personally, of what if, but not just exclusively the Marvel shit, but more like real life, whole life. What if? What if Doja Cat would have been Catwoman? This time around for this version of fucking the Batman that we're getting, starring Robert Pattison. You got fucking Colin FARRELL. You got I forget the name. I'm so sorry, but no disrespect. But whoever's playing the Riddler, shouts to him also. And Zoe Kravitz as well too. The lovely, beautiful, also very talented Zoe Kravitz playing Catwoman this time around. But I still think and demand an alternate universe, a parallel timeline running alongside ours, that Doja Cat could have been Catwoman. That's all I'm saying.
Yo, it's over. All right, it's over. It's over. Move the mic. Move the mic.
Thank you.
All right.